What is going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. In this Asics box, I have the Asics DS Lite X-Fly Pro 2, a sequel to a boot that I thought was actually really excellent and that a lot of people have wanted me to review. So without further ado, let's hop into it. So these are thanks to Tokyo Football, who are a football store out of Singapore, and Tokyo Football sent these out to me, so go check out their store. They have awesome stock of a lot of really incredible and more rare boots that you don't get on other markets, which is really, really nice. So this, of course, being the DS Lite X-Fly Pro 2, which you can see here. They have boots like this one. They have old Morelia Wave Cups, turf versions of stuff, and honestly, I've gone through and gotten stuff from their store in Singapore shipped to the US, which is amazing. And then of course down to Australia as well. So this is, yeah, for those of you who are looking for a little bit more rare made in Japan stuff, would highly recommend going to their website and checking it out. I've been following them for a really long time, and they've been one of my resources to get like really good Asics boots, and of course really good Mizuno products as well, because they have all the Moncardia, or how do you pronounce it? Yeah, Moncardia and Neos, so the little bit wider, like lower tier boots that are still really incredible, all that stuff. So go check them out. Let's hop into the unboxing. So these, of course, are the DS Lite X-Fly Pro 2. These are in the white and electric blue colorway, of course, as we have to, as I'm wearing those colors right now. These are a 26.5 centimeters, so these are a half a size down. This is an 8.5 US. For those of you who know, for most Asics sizing, I go half a size down just because they fit me lengthwise a little bit better, and then it takes usually a little bit more time to break in. Box is obviously very, very standard as well. Let's get these unboxed. I'm super excited to see how these go. Oh, sick. Yeah, nice. These are so clean looking. All white. They're so lightweight too as well. God damn. Very, very, very lightweight. Really nice. Very similar as well to the older generation. So if you guys have been following me for long enough, or you've already seen the video because you searched it online, I reviewed the all red version of the first gen. These, of course, being the second generation, the more updated version. This is the boot that Tomiyasu wears at Arsenal. So he is kind of their figurehead for this football boot, and the DS Lite X-Fly 5, which is their new speed boot as well. This being the little bit lighter weight version of that boot, with obviously a few changes. So let's get this out of the box, and then we'll go over tech specs as well. Unfortunately, you don't get any string bags with those, but honestly, not really anything to complain about as far as that goes. So as far as looks go, these are absolutely incredible. I think this colorway looks insane. The kind of a pearlescent white finish there on the forefoot and the midfoot, with of course this kind of coral green colorway and the light blue, and then you get that electric blue on the sole plate as well. The sole plate being one of the kind of main factors with this boot of why it's so special, which we'll go over in a minute. So you've got the premium leather forefoot area. So I will take the little piece out there and show you guys. Asics has done such a nice job of recent times upgrading the quality of their leather materials in both the Ultreza 3, the DS Lite X-Fly Pro 2, X-Fly 5, and then of course the synthetic of the X-Fly 5 Special Edition. And this is easily, well, maybe not easily, this is like right up there with Mizuno quality. This is so soft. And as you can see, the quality of the leather here is just incredible. Basically covers the entirety of the forefoot area, very similar to other models from the Asics line. And then you've got an asymmetrical stitching pattern here and some stitching patterns across the upper, both on the lateral and the medial side of that toe box area, to prevent overstretching and stuff, which is an issue I have never really had with Asics football boots. That's why I always tell people to go true to size. So even if it means going half a size down, which I recommend for most Asics boots, they fit about a quarter to a half a size long. I recommend going half a size down because especially with boots that have a really premium, and the more premium the leather, the more it'll stretch usually, especially in a boot like this. If your toes go almost up to the end or right up to the end on a boot like this, it'll stretch so nicely, and then you get this perfect like barefoot feeling on feet. And that's kind of what you're looking for from a leather football boot. So that's why I always suggest going with half a size down, or if you're somebody with kind of longer toes or something, go true to size, it'll be just fine. But that's what I would recommend. Just get the length first, because that of course affects, especially with leather boots, the way that it will stretch or overstretch. You never want extra room on the end of your boots if they're leather, and any stretch of the imagination, right? So the midfoot here is the same SK Micro synthetic midfoot, and it has the Moist-Tect technology all over the top of the entire boot, which is basically the, well, there's your logoing right there for Moist-Tect. Basically what that is it's a weather coating that provides a little bit of stickiness to the upper. So especially here in the midfoot, I would say that this is maybe just because of the graphic pattern, but also they might have updated the Moist-Tect with a little bit of this texturing material, and it feels definitely more sticky. You can kind of hear that right here. It was squeaking a second earlier. Well, anyway, point being, the synthetic coating over the top, this Moist-Tect, is actually quite a bit more sticky on that midfoot than the previous generation, which hopefully will provide a little bit of a control element to it, especially if you're playing on wetter conditions, which is really nice there. So from a construction perspective, the upper hasn't changed a whole lot. They've upgraded the leather. They've done a little bit of upgrades to the texturing of the midfoot here as well. And then of course you get the same power hold lacing system, which is basically Asics' version of sort of the deep and the wide lacing system area, which provides one of the most customizable fit and finish of any football boot. I really enjoy how this lacing system holds your foot in place. And the cool thing as well is they have actually 4 lace hole loops on the tongue area. So as you pull those tight, you're not going to get any rotation of that tongue area, which is really nice when you are striking, passing, and doing any sort of playing inside a football boot like this that's meant to be more of a, you know, quote unquote speed boot there. So for those of you who have a wider foot shape, these should be totally suitable because you have the adjustability in this power hold lacing system, which is a really nice feature for those of us looking for a lighter weight boot, but still want the comfort and performance of something that's got a leather in the forefoot and a synthetic in the midfoot as well. A change from the previous generation is that this tongue is actually no longer a mesh material. It's the same micro SK material, micro synthetic that you have, plus a little bit of exposed suede that you get on the bottom of this lacing system area there. And then the suede material, this beautiful micro suede, continues throughout the entirety of the heel area. And that's actually something that I've sort of praised Asics for in the past, is I think they have, if you like overall, if you take kind of the aggregate score of all of their models compared to the, you know, the Nikes and then all the Adidas boots and then everything, the heel area of Asics boots is by far the best, especially on the Japan kind of, how would you say it? The boots that are made for the Japanese market, like this one, the X-Fly 5, X-Fly 5 special edition, all that stuff. You get this incredible suede liner and this heel area that just provides the most custom and beautiful locked-in sensation that, in my opinion, is impossible to beat from a comfort and performance perspective. The micro suede does a really nice job whether you're wearing grip socks or non-grip socks. It provides a really nice locked-in sensation, which is what most people, I would assume, are looking for, especially because you don't want any slippage. Slippage causes blisters, blisters cause pain, pain prevents you from playing at your best, right? So that's one of those things. One of the other features of this boot that has stayed the same, which I'm very glad to hear, is that they have continued with the Sole Light insole, which is the same material that they use in their running shoes. So it gives you a really nice kind of padded underfoot sensation. It's quite a bit thicker from, I mean, we're talking obviously like millimeters, but it's still a little bit thicker than a lot of other insoles on the market. It's got a nice little kind of matte finish to it, so it provides a little bit of grip sensation as well. And then of course you have a decent shape to it as well. So as you fit into the boot, it provides a really nice fit and feel underfoot, which is really awesome and what you're basically looking for. You've got an internal heel counter as well, so very similar to the previous generation. The internal heel counter comes up to about there, so you've got quite a bit of bendability there and flexibility in the upper part of this Achilles and then you've got the internal heel counter, which goes up there and then kind of runs along where that Pro graphic is down there to provide a little bit of structure there through the heel area. But as I said before, this heel area is super moldable. It'll be suitable for most people, especially because of, if you look at it from top down, it does have quite a bit of plush padding to it that will kind of stretch and mold almost like memory foam to the outside of your Achilles tendon as well. One of the main features of this boot is the sole plate. We're gonna go over sole plate pretty quick here because I wanna get to the on-feet portion of the video. Basically what they've done is they created a nylon resin outsole, which is very kind of, I would say, standard for the business. And what they've done is they've actually done these cutouts here in these two areas, and then of course here in the forefoot as well. And what that's done is that's exposed the durable waterproof mesh that they have underneath that provides a really nice amount of weight saving because you've taken those pieces out. And I reckon that's how they get this boot to be so light, because obviously the leather isn't the lightest material on the market. You know, you can make this midfoot pretty thin, which it is, and but that's where you get most of the weight savings here. So from a performance perspective, this mesh doesn't do anything. I found that it doesn't hold water at all either, so it's pretty aquaphobic, which is really nice. And then you've got the ribs through the heel area and through the midfoot to provide definitely the structure through the midfoot that you want. And then you do get a decent amount, here, we'll go this way, a decent amount of snapback here through the forefoot area. One of the things that I know Asics is known for as well is the heel lifts. Now, for those of you who enjoy heel lifts and really need heel lifts for medical purposes, these are probably not the boots for you because these don't have a heel lift similar to the X-Fly 5. These are also quite a bit flatter than the X-Fly 5. As you guys know, the X-Fly 5 has a little bit of a toe lift in the sole plate. The sole plate is a little more arched. Now, I don't mind it because it's not structured enough like the 99-gram leather boot you see up here. That's like way more aggressive from that Carbotex insert. But I would say that for the most part, the flatter boot, at least for me, is what kind of I prefer. So I'm interested to see sort of the way that these fit and feel compared to the X-Fly 5 and compared to some of the other things on the market, especially when you consider, you know, this now includes things like the Copa Pure 2.1 and 2 Plus being the leather in the forefoot, synthetic in the midfoot, things like the 99-gram leather, even though those aren't technically like current. You've got the Mizuno Morelia Neo 4 betas, which these compete with. And so the competition for this category is actually quite extensive and really high level, I would say, overall. And so I'm interested to see how these fit and feel. So nice sole plate, really interesting technology here. They've taken a lot of structure out of it while maintaining the performance, which is kind of crazy. So they've taken a lot of those pieces out and they've, you know, maintained all the structure that you would find, you know, blind testing, you would assume this is just another really nice speed boot sole plate. So let's hop into the on-feet portion of the video, see what the fit and feel is like with the half a size down compared to the first iteration that I did, the first gen of this boot, and see if we go from there. We'll talk about sizing, we'll talk about fit, feel, and comfort, and who these are best suited for. Let's hop into it. All right, I'm out here in the backyard now with the Asics DS Lite X Fly Pro 2. These are very exciting and I'm super pumped to get these on. So keep in mind, these are a half size down from my normal 9 US. These are an 8.5 US, just so you have context of when we get these on. So there you go. I think they look absolutely fantastic in this white, kind of gloss white or pearlescent white with the blue and sort of those like mint green accents. Super, super nice. As you can see here, so I know they have, I mentioned earlier in the video, the power hold lacing system, which is how wide and deep this goes. Notice how open you can actually get the mouth of this boot there so that you have much easier time getting the boot on, which really helps with just like initial comfort out of the box so you don't feel like you're totally cramped inside the boot. And oh, nice. Okay, so right away, feeling a little bit tight, but that's because my toes I have grip socks on right now. And so my toes are sort of cramped up in the front. But as you can see, there's a little bit of extra space, which will go away as I am able to get my toes into the front of that boot, but no issues at all as far as fit and comfort goes.
God, these feel awesome. I love the way the X-Fly series from Asics fits, both the X-Fly 5 and of course X-Fly 5 Special Edition, and then these X-Fly Pro, even the first generation was really, really nice. So I'll just single knot it there so you guys get a sense. The other cool thing is they add a runner's knot there. So that's super nice as well as you break the boots in if there is any extra space, which for me there really isn't to begin with. But if I wanted to, probably as I break these in, I'll start to use that runner's knot just to get a little bit of extra kind of torque throughout this SK Micro synthetic there. So there you go. Really nice looking football boots in my opinion. Super neutral feeling and very, very nice on feet. Get the second one on as well. And then we'll talk a little bit about kind of the fit and the comfort and the sizing. I'm going to go a little bit slower here to see if I can kind of edge my way to the front of the boots. Perfect. So there you go. Right on the front, got a little bit of extra space, but that'll of course break in. This premium K leather does such a nice job on the Asics models of breaking in really well, which is always a good thing when you are purchasing a pair of leather football boots. Now, as far as comparison goes, I'll talk a little bit more about general comparison when we go through the 1 month review, but there's a good look at the boots fully on now. Really, really nice. These compare with the normal non-beta made in Japan models from a price perspective. Depending on where you get them, you can also get them around the elite model pricing. So Asics actually has a really nice price point when it comes to their football boots, and despite them being just as good, if not better than some of the other, well, most of the other products in my opinion on the market, especially when you get into the DS Lite X-Fly Pro 2 and X-Fly 5 series, like this one and the X-Fly 5, they genuinely are just better products than most other things on the market, and that's because they have a really nice anatomical fit. As you can see, kind of my foot fits really nicely into there. You can see how soft the K leather is in that forefoot area. Really does a nice job of wrapping your foot there in the toe. And then this SK Micro Synthetic does such a nice job of kind of molding a little bit to your foot, allowing your foot to get into the shape of the boot. And then the boot sort of wraps around you. There's no spots on the inside here either with any hot spots or any areas where there's like little bubbles of material. It really does a nice job of wrapping your foot. The sole plate is also really unique, and because they're such a lightweight boot for what they are, you can kind of feel that. You can't feel the mesh underfoot, but it does feel really unique. Does have a nice bit of bounce to it. I wouldn't say there's any stud pressure other than maybe the middle stud here, kind of in this area down there. That being said, I am on a, this isn't a playing turf. This is a turf that you use for backyards. So just keep that in mind for context. But there's a good look at the boots on feet, and honestly, with the Noah Cavanaugh custom kit, it does look super sick because they are very much matching colors here. I love the way these fit and feel. I think these are one of the most comfortable kind of speed boots on the market. They compete with those Mizunos. They're going to compete with the 99-gram leather boots. I know those aren't technically normal release boots. Those are limited edition, and they, don't really exist anymore, except for the secondary market or tertiary market. And then you're looking at, I guess you could say the Copa Pure, but again, these are so much better comfort, way better materials in my opinion. They're a lot thinner, and so they actually have much better ball feel just in general. At least the first generation does. We'll do a little juggling test in a second. But that kind of general construction where you have the leather in the forefoot, synthetic in the midfoot. I think the heel area they've absolutely nailed, because you basically from all the way up here, all the way throughout, and basically it wraps from there all the way around the heel, all the way to here again. you've got this beautifully soft micro suede material that just locks in your ankle without giving you any hot spots. Like this ankle area is actually really, really pliable, and it allows most heel shapes to fit in here absolutely perfectly with no issues, which is one of the things that for players like me who have a wide toe box, a wide midfoot, and a pretty thin heel area, as you start to break in the midfoot, what that does is that often will kind of obnoxiously open up the space of the heel area, which makes sense from a physics perspective, right? But it just is annoying because then you get a little bit of extra or too much space in the heel, which then causes rotational problems. You get slippage and then blisters and all that stuff. But these ones in the heel area have absolutely no separation from where my heel is and where the material touches the back of my Achilles and my heel. Basically, these are, in my opinion, and I've spoken about this a lot in most reviews, Asics football boots for me are one of the them and Mizuno are by far, in my opinion, across all of their models, the most cognizant of like foot health and foot shape, because they're not, yes, they look nice in certain models and they do really well from an aesthetic perspective, but it's about the anatomical fit of the foot, right? So touch on the ball with the DS Lite X Fly Pro 2, fantastic. These feel remarkably barefoot. Like when you're doing this compared to, I would say these feel at least a little bit thinner than the Morelia Neo 4 and Neo 4 Beta, even just a tiny bit. The Beta is like super, super thin. But I would say from the Morelia Neo 4, the regular model, these feel pretty similar to that, if not a little bit thinner, which is pretty amazing. And I would say that they are definitely on par for, as far as weight goes, definitely on par or even a little bit better as far as comfort goes. I think the SK Microsynthetic in the midfoot does such a nice job of feeling super seamless with that leather forefoot area, which is what you want from a boot that's kind of meant to have really no distractions. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but this is the boot that Tomiyasu wears, the fullback from Arsenal, and I believe he's on the Japan national team as well, and this is his boot of choice and or the boot that he is endorsed to wear. So this is the one you'll probably see him in a slightly, a couple different colorways, but this is the one that he wears over X-Fly 5 and some of their other models as well. I reckon Menace potentially would be a boot of choice for him, but my guess is that he's more of like a leather football boot player, so he'll probably be X-Fly 5 or these, and he's been on all the marketing material for the X-Fly Pro 2, so that's gonna be, that's kind of his boot. But honestly, first impressions at least, these are gonna be a really, really fun football boot to play in. I'm really stoked to be able to train in them, to start to play, get that kind of the leather broken in and make sure they're really, really good to go, so that when the 1 month review comes around in a month or 6 weeks or so, I'll have a really good idea of what these feel like on artificial ground, as well as some firm ground pitches as well. So wow, I can't speak this morning, can I? That's gonna wrap up the review for the Asics DS Lite X Fly Pro 2. If you guys have any questions that I didn't answer in the on-feet portion or the unboxing portion of the video, leave them down in the comment section below. Like the video if you got value from it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, be awesome, take care. I'll see y'all in the next video.